Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Keep It Moving with Habibi. Today, we're going to be jumping in on how to work with foreign clients, buyers, sellers. It's a question that I'm asked often, and I felt like it might be important for me to make this video today to help you and to help me brush up on what we've learned before. And hopefully we kick this off together, and if you have any questions or you have some great feedback or you know some other tips of the trade that'll be able to benefit myself and anyone else that potentially is watching this video, leave it in the comment section. We love that and appreciate that. So let's jump in on kind of what's going on. First and foremost, wherever you live personally, you have to have a pretty good understanding on, are there international clients buying or selling in that area? Is that something prominent? Is that something that you're seeing often? If so, why not try to get a little bit of a piece of that? It's important to be able to spread your portfolio, to understand the diversity of what's going on in your market specifically, and be able to capitalize on that. So think about that for a little bit. You know, maybe ask some of your colleagues, maybe ask people in the brokerage community, and you know, just kind of read up on kind of what's going on in that specific area and that specific market, and if this is something that may be beneficial for you. If you're not a realtor and you're watching this, I'm really happy about that, because no matter what business that you're in, it's very important to know how to work with foreign clients. So this is going to be pretty beneficial. For real estate specifically, a lot of the stuff that I'll be talking about is kind of more specific to realtors. So in my area, in my backyard, the San Francisco Bay Area landscape, Silicon Valley, Marin County, the East Bay, San Francisco, we have clients from Canada, we have clients from China, the United Kingdom, Portugal, Russia. Some people are even buying from Australia. So, you know, it's important also to know where specifically each those different demographics, you know, where are clients from Mexico wanting to buy from, where are clients from South America wanting to buy from, or park their money. So we know that Canada really enjoys Hawaii, and they really enjoy the West Coast, whether that be down south or the Bay Area, which is Northern California. We know that people from India really enjoy California, they enjoy Texas, and also, believe it or not, New Jersey, of all places. We know that people in Mexico really enjoy the border states, and you know, for whatever reason that may be, just to be able to go back home more often, enjoy the friends, the family, and then also, you know, have their property that they may have purchased in the, you know, near the border, just for that to facilitate and be easy for them. And we know that people in China really enjoy California, whether that be Northern California, which is San Francisco Bay Area, Silicon Valley landscape, or down south, which is Orange County, Los Angeles perhaps, maybe even San Diego. So for they also actually like, you know, just thinking about it a little bit further, they're enjoying Texas a lot more, I'm hearing about. They're enjoying Washington State a lot more, the Pacific Northwest, and Florida, South Florida. So average sales price for what they're buying, I'm speaking specifically now to Chinese buyers, is they're averaging price points of about $937,000, which is a pretty hefty price point. And you know, in 2017, for example, they closed $32 billion worth of transactions of real estate here in the domestic United States. Can you imagine that? $32 billion of property these people from a foreign land have purchased. I'm sure if you're anything like me, you want to be able to serve these people and be able to help them with their real estate needs here in the domestic US, and be able to get some of that closed money in your potential bank account, right? So there's a saying though, when America sneezes, Asia catches a cold. And I'll let you think about that a little bit, and maybe even Google it and kind of dive in on what that means. If something wrong is going here domestically, they feel it over there crazy. Like it's really, really impactful. So now, let's jump into why people want to get their money potentially out of a country like China. There's an exodus happening, believe it or not. A lot of people, you know, I'm not an expert in foreign policy, but, you know, they said that there's corruption of the government. You know, it's a volatile stock market. They don't know whether if they're going to make money, they're going to lose money. If they park their money in the stock market, you know, it could vanish. Currency devaluation. What that means is, you know, their you know, currency could be strong at one point, and then all of a sudden it becomes super low. They're losing money in that way, so they want to be able to kind of counterbalance that as well. There's just this concept of a dream home ownership, and if you know this, the country of China only allows somebody to purchase 2 properties in their lifetime. So as you can imagine, you know, that could definitely affect some people if, you know, if they're thinking about maybe buying multiple units of property and using that as their retirement for later on in their lives. You know, it could definitely change the game for their life. You don't actually own property in China. You have something called a 70-year lease. So, you know, that could be close to somebody's lifetime. You know, people are living a lot longer these days, so, but you'll have a 70-year lease on that specific property for you to use it and enjoy it and live in it. So another thing is, you know, just diversifying their assets out of China, being able to potentially park money somewhere else. Now, you know, from what we've seen and experienced in the past, they really enjoy the domestic United States because it seems like a safer place for them to potentially purchase a piece of property and enjoy it for quite some time, and then be able to maybe sell it off later on and make a nice profit off that. So it's a great place for them to park their cash. And you know, this is something that you could think of it as a factor, but or not, but you know, they definitely focus on air quality. And because of all the diesel and everything else, the fossil fuels they're using, it's, you know, the air quality is pretty bad over there. If you've traveled to Asia in general, you'll probably understand that and know that. You know, you're walking around with a mask on your face. It's probably not the best way to live, right? Especially if you have children and family and elderly people that are living with you, and, you know, just air quality could definitely affect you over time. So, how do we market to Chinese people? Whether they may be wanting to purchase or maybe wanting to sell. How do we do that? So, understand that they have in their minds the concept of a very long sales cycle. They're not the type of people that are just going to buy something and within 3 to 5 years flip it and get rid of the property. It's not like that for them. They're thinking 20, 50, 100 years from now. They don't have a short-term mentality, which is very prominent here in the States, where, you know, we're doing things a lot quicker, a lot more often. For them, they're thinking legacy, they're thinking their children, their grandchildren, their grand-grandchildren. It's a very amazing way to think about, actually, because it helps facilitate doing the right thing today, because you're not thinking about just yourself and your life. You're thinking about your kids, you're thinking about your grandkids. You know, what is this place and this economy and everything going to look like at that time? So, you know, it's a pretty good thing to think about. Now, many people think that it's a detriment and a bad thing to not be able to speak that language. It doesn't matter what it is, Russian or Chinese or Portuguese or whatever it may be. People think that you have to be able to speak that language in order for it to be, you know, very successful within that transaction, or being able to understand one another in the right way. It's not. You know, one book that I like to recommend to everybody to buy, to utilize, is this one here. It's called Kiss, Bow, or Shake Hands. The premise of this book is basically how to do business with 60 different countries. Now, I mean, it's not the most craziest of in-depth knowledge on, you know, understanding that culture frontwards, backwards, inside out, but you know, there's a good 6-7 pages of very detailed information on how to dress, you know, what is like protocol, how to greet, how to speak, how to have dinner with these people, how to conduct the actual business meeting, you know, the country background. You know, it'll help you with your cultural IQ on how to actually, you know, just at least get a one-up on how to do business with these people, because it's so important. You know, like, I'm from the Middle East. There's a certain way to conduct business with those types of people. There's certain things that you say, certain things you don't say, things that are taboo, things that are great to mention. It's just, you know, it could really sidetrack you having a potential good relationship with somebody and doing good business with them, or them just not liking you and never wanting to see your face again. So these are important things to think about. So let's think about some etiquette when it comes to the Chinese market on even just how to give your business card to somebody, right? So for them, one, you know, you hand your business card to them with two hands, right? It's a nice gesture. It's a thoughtful way of doing that. You know, I usually am like, here, take the card, you know, but it's important to do that. It's very polite, good etiquette with that. Then when they do that same thing to you, when you actually take the card, one thing that you have to do and show them that you're doing is literally read the whole entire card. Very important. Reading the entire card. Next thing is never ever write anything on their card. I know that sometimes, you know, you're in a rush, you're at a business networking event or whatever, and you want to remember, okay, who is this person? What was the conversation that we had? How would they like me to follow up with them, etc.? And you may want to write on the card. Don't ever do that. It's a huge sign of disrespect. So another thing that you also want to think about is never, like, you know, maybe quickly you'll just put it in your back pocket and then you'll sit on the card. Again, huge sign of disrespect. Believe it or not, you know, people actually care about their titles and what they do, and it's a very thoughtful thing for them. So in any way, you just don't want to show that you're disrespecting, you know, them, their title, their company, their brand, their business, everything that they've worked so hard to get to. It might be on this card, right? So some people may not care, others will care deeply. So you just want to do everything that you possibly can to maintain that fantastic relationship and make sure that you're not offending anyone, even if you don't know it. So it's a process of you getting to know the nuances of doing business with different cultures. So the second thing, we have to understand the motivation behind somebody potentially wanting to do a transaction. Especially here domestically, okay, well, you know, where's the money coming from? Why is it coming here? What is the reason why they're actually even doing this? The more that you could build the rapport, build that relationship and understand, the better you're going to be able to serve them. So for the Chinese market, let's just think about it this way. Good schools. They're not thinking about just them. They're thinking about their kids, their grandkids, their grand-grandkids. So good schools and education is a prominent thing for them. They really enjoy it, and they want to be in areas that have literally the best schools to facilitate education for their kids. So here in the SF Bay Area, Silicon Valley, I've, you know, helped them buy in Menlo Park, in Palo Alto, that's, you know, where Stanford University is, you know, different areas where they really, really want to potentially buy products around there for the facilitation of the best schools, for elementary, for middle school, for high school, and then inevitably getting into that college level. So the transaction for them is not a short time thing. It's, you know, it's going to be an 18, 20 year potential process of them owning that home, living in that home, enjoying that home, their kids going to school in that home, and then, you know, doing something later on in the future. Again, kind of touching back on the time aspect, but good schools are super important. Second thing is the investment value, right? They're not going to be able to buy something that they're not going to be able to make a fantastic return on over that 5, 10, 15, 20 year period. So think about that. What is going to be the best investment value? And maybe show them, okay, you know, this is what the past 20 years has looked like. This is what the next 20 years, just based on a very conservative approach, this is what you're going to be making year over year. Show that to them. They're really going to enjoy that, and you're going to be doing one step of service better than any, you know, Tom, Dick, and Harry that's not doing that. So other things that you have to think about are prestigious areas, okay? Believe it or not, you know, they want to tell their friends and their families, you know, that they purchased in this specific city, Hillsborough or Atherton or Woodside or Los Altos Hills, and, and people back home, knowing those areas, knowing those specific cities, and that resonates with, hey, so and so has made it, and they want to feel that, and they want to experience that, and it makes sense for them. So think about these prestigious areas where you think that they want to potentially purchase and make that happen. So also think a lot about coastal areas. They really enjoy coastal areas. The whole entire Laguna Beach, Newport Beach, down south, that whole entire South California, basically, Wind and Sea, which is in La Jolla, and San Diego. These areas are super prominent, so think about those areas as well. Now, entertaining clients, having friends and family know that they've made it. Another thing to think about, which is something that I'm not too keen on as far as like knowing the ins and outs of it, but I'm trying to learn a lot more, is about Feng Shui. So, where do the windows sit? What is the backyard facing? What is the front door facing? How is the general floor plan of this specific home as you're walking through it? What type of energy is it providing, and is it going to be something that clients are going to like or clients are not going to like? You have to start diving in deeper to understanding the foreign client, and also how the product around your specific area, how does it resonate with them, right? The more you start learning about this, the better you're going to be able to explain, oh, so-and-so, you're really going to love this because, the front door is facing this, and the backyard is facing south, and all these different things that those are going to be hot buttons, and they're going to know that you understand them by explaining that, right? So think about that. And another thing that this is something that I've experienced here in the Bay Area is something called an EB as in boy 5 visa. So what that means is this: if you are a foreigner and you potentially invest $1 million into starting a business here domestically in the United States, and you employ 10 people, what the US government is going to do for you is they're going to give you a green card. So now, for someone that's living as a foreigner and they want to potentially get in and break into the domestic United States markets and build a business here and build something fantastic, that is a way for them to get their green card, which, in today's day and age, it's really difficult to get a green card. So an EB5 visa, I would definitely research that more if you can. That is another way that, people are going to potentially want to buy property here in the domestic United States. So things that are important for, again, I'm just going to kind of touch on the Chinese market again. They really enjoy new construction a lot, whether new development in high-rise condo buildings or new development homes. The concept of living in something that somebody else has owned prior is not the most prominent thing for them. So as far as remodels and renovations, not their favorite thing. If it's a gut remodel, ground up renovation, that is going to be a lot more appealing to them than something that somebody else has owned and they kind of renovated the bathrooms and the kitchen and in the areas of the home where people are often hanging out. They want something literally like walk in, nobody's lived here before yet, you guys are going to be the first ones. They're really going to enjoy that the most. Something to definitely take into consideration is to not make any assumptions about them knowing the process. You have to be the knowledge broker when working with anybody, really, but when working with a foreign client, you really have to have them understand and grasp the way that the process works, from the initial consultation to the proof of funds and the knowing your client, and to be able to prove who they are and where this is going, and then to say, okay, this is what the home search process looks like, and this is what the offer process looks like, and this is what the escrow process looks like, and this is what the closing process looks like, and really deep diving into having them understand that process, because more than likely they don't know. Not everyone has bought massive properties everywhere and they understand all the different areas. Every single area is different and nuanced to its own specific thing, so you definitely want to be the person that's going to be able to share that with them and express to them that you know what you're doing, and that you have their back, and you're just going to take care of them wholeheartedly with everything going on, and really explain it well. So this is something that you're just going to have to do. for specifically the Chinese market, likely it's not that you're working directly with the client. You're probably working with some sort of representative for them. So what you want to do first and foremost is get a copy of the person who's actually going to make the purchase's passport. So get a copy of their passport, have it on file, so you know who the end result person is that you're actually dealing with. The other people that you may be showing properties to, dealing with over the phone or online, etc., through chats, may not be the person that's actually doing the actual purchase. Okay, so just think about that. Make a copy of their passport just so you're protected and you know who you're directly dealing with at the end of the day. This is a funny thing, but always ask when you're going to be doing any showings, would you like to show this to your parents, to your family, to your mother, to your father, to anybody else that you would like to get a second or third opinion with? Are they going to be coming to the showing? Should we organize pickup for them, drop off for them? How should we facilitate that? Make sure that you ask. It's just going to make them feel a lot more in tune with you, and also make them understand that you care about the different people that are going to be involved with the actual purchase. So we often do this, I often do this, because we're so busy doing what we do. Don't assume that they know the customs and the culture of the US. And just don't. You know, they're busy living their lives in their country, and that's what they know and that's what they focus on, and I mean, that's fine. That's what they should be doing. So don't assume that they already know how to do you know, business here. So again, this is a point where you get to really show that you care about these people, that you understand them, and you're going to really go in deep with them on understanding the customs of the culture of how to do business here. And don't be offended in any way if things aren't going your way and smoothly on how you've been accustomed to doing transactions. It's gonna be a learning lesson. It's gonna be up and down, and there's gonna be loss of translation. There's gonna be communication barriers, and the better that you could, you know, just kind of cool off and just understand the whole entire holistic process, the better it's gonna be for you, for them, for everybody involved. So explaining the purchase process is very important. You know, explaining what title and escrow is. Maybe they haven't dealt with that before. Other people deal with lawyers in foreign countries. They deal with it a completely different way. So understand it for yourself, obviously, and then be able to explain that very well to them on, okay, how does this process work, and how are we going to get to the close? So for your title and escrow companies, if you're working with title and escrow wherever you are, it's very helpful to ask them for brochures in their language. Okay, so if it's in Portuguese, if it's in Russian, if it's in Chinese, if it's in Spanish, ask for the brochure in that specific person's language and just send it over to them via PDF or in the actual mail. Let them read it and understand it in their language so it really, really resonates with them. And that's going to be definitely a big step of service and an extra touch for you. It's going to make you look really good. Setting the right expectations by doing that, right? So now they're informed, they know what to do and how to do it, and you were the person that provided that, so it just makes you look even better. Now, there's a chat service or app. You could get it on your phone, you could actually have it on your desktop or your laptop as well, that foreigners use often. They really enjoy it. They're using it 24/7 with themselves, so all of a sudden if you pop up on it, they feel like, again, you're in the know and you know how to deal with these people as clients. It's called WeChat, W-E-C-H-A-T, WeChat, okay? Download it, set up your account, post it everywhere on all your socials, on your website, on every single thing that you have, showing them that you use WeChat. They feel comfortable using WeChat, so it's just, again, it's a great way to mesh what you're already doing, what you're already building, and also to show clients like, hey, I'm in the know, I use this often, this is how I communicate with my foreign clients. We use WeChat, we use it often. It makes you look really good. So download WeChat, use that. Now, you could do texting, you could do FaceTime with them. It's free, amazing. You can't beat it. So, now, again, so we'll just kind of jump back into the Chinese markets in general. Again, heightened focus on education, so definitely you need to focus on that. So here's some extra steps of service that you could do to provide exemplary service for these people. Know the schools, elementaries, middle schools, if there's junior highs, and high schools for that specific area. Go and visit them and learn how to get kids enrolled into these schools. For our next little segment, we could think about the importance of gifts in any culture, right? What do you give? How do you give it? What's appropriate? What's not? These are things to think about as well. For the Chinese culture, let's think about some good things and also what to avoid. So now, they love California wine. We're here very close to the Napa Valley, Sonoma, so there's a plethora of that for us to be able to give to them. They really enjoy it. It's far from them. Think about it. These people are coming from China. Napa Valley wines are incredibly prominent over there. So for them to be able to get a gift of that, they're going to be very excited about that. It's really going to resonate well with them. So another thing is cigarettes. I don't smoke. I don't really know much about cigarettes, but cigarettes are a great gift. They may enjoy it. Tea, red envelopes, peaches, and numerology is very important for that culture as well. So anything with a 6 or an 8 in it is good. Some things to potentially, not even potentially, stay away from these gifts if you're giving it to anyone from the Chinese culture, okay? Clocks, knives, scissors, mirrors, handkerchiefs, green hats, and anything numerologically, I don't know if I said that, numerology, anything with a 4, stay away from it. You don't want to do that, okay? Now, this is important because this is literally our job. This is what we do for a living. This is how we provide for our families. This is how we get up in the ranks. This is how we build our career. This is how we build our business and our brand. What do people from the Chinese culture want from their real estate agents? Trust. Most important thing, hands down. They want to understand and they want to know that it's the same price for a specific property for all. They want you to make them understand that just because they're from a foreign country, the price doesn't go up a tick for them. It's the same price for all. So being able to explain that in the best way possible is going to be really good for you. Now, discretion. I can't emphasize discretion enough. It doesn't, like literally this transcends cultural barriers or anything like that. You know, if anyone's going to be buying a property or selling a property anywhere here in the domestic US, I mean, discretion is so important. Really, really take that into consideration. People don't want other people to know what they're doing, what type of money they're potentially making, how much they already have, who they are. This is such an important thing and it's a sensitive thing, so be very sensitive to that. For the Chinese culture, discretion is so important. They don't want anybody knowing what they did or what they bought or how much they spent or how much they have. You know, it's something that's very important. So, expert advice. Being the go-to knowledge broker for a property, for a neighborhood, for a city, for the companies that are there, for the schools that are there, for where the hospitals are, for where the fire departments are, for what the values of these specific homes are going to be in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Being the go-to knowledge broker and resource for these people is just going to make you look so good. And it's going to take time and effort for you to build that and to get to that level and to be able to express that with maximum amounts of confidence. But the more time and effort that you could put into learning it and understanding it and knowing it like the back of your hand to be able to present that confidently, the better it's going to look for you. Strong negotiation skills. I come from a culture where, you know, people are very apprehensive to pay full price for anything. They're going to hassle, they're going to barter, they're going to just do everything that they possibly can to get a better deal. And granted, why not? They should. So you need to understand how to negotiate for that specific culture and what you're going to be able to do in order to provide value for them. Because if you're not providing value, I mean, just quit today. There's no use of you being here. You need to provide value. Now, a concierge style service. Think about it this way. If you live in a different country in general, what is it going to take for this specific agent to do for you that's going to make this process easier for you to have peace of mind at home, for you to know that everything that you just did is being taken care of in the best way possible. So project management, if they need things to be done to the home, you're there, you're monitoring it, you're just making the process go smoothly from A to Z, finishing it off, being there to take care of it for them. Property management, like, okay, if the people are going to buy a home, for example, we have Chinese clients that buy here in the Valley, they don't live in the home. It's literally empty. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, the place is just empty. They've bought it to park the cash, for it to go accrue in value, for them to be able to sell it off, or their kids are still young. By the time they're 18, they want them to be able to utilize that while they're going to college. So this, like I said, it's a long-term play. For you to do the property management, the maintenance, you know, they're not going to be renting these homes out. Literally, they're going to be empty, bone dry. So you need to be able to help them with that maintenance, doing that extra step of service. What else? You know, these sometimes they're second homes for these people, third homes for these people again. So just being there to be able to monitor, take care of anything that they possibly need to be taken care of, anticipating their needs, and doing it before they could even ask. Like you saying, hey, could I go stop by the house today? I want to go take a look at what's going on, see what's going on over there. How much are they going to appreciate? They're going to love you. Now, this is the crux of it all. This is the, I mean, this is what we want, right? As someone that's working in real estate. If you do a successful deal with someone from the Chinese culture, that one deal is going to lead to 10, because they have a very, very good communicational hotline amongst one another saying, hey, I just did a deal with so-and-so. You need to work with this person. And then they're going to let this person know, and that person know, and that person know, and those people are going to let other people know. And literally all of a sudden, that one deal that you just did and you rocked it is going to turn into 10 more deals, because what was rule number 1? Building that trust. Now you've built the trust, you've established the rapport and built the relationship, and you've done everything for these people inside and out, frontwards and backwards, and now they love you. They're just, the funnel is going to open up and it's going to go literally directly to you. So make sure that you kill it in every way possible in order to make that one deal turn into 10 or more. All right? So the outlook for international real estate activity in the USA is positive. It's been positive for the last several years. It's going to continue that way from everything that we see for the outlook. So think about that. Last, but definitely not least, what I would like to close with is this. For anyone from other countries that want to potentially do a transaction with you here, it may be something off-putting, maybe something that you don't want to dive into immediately, but apart from proving who they are as a person, as an individual, you want to prove the funds. I've had a deal fall apart, $6.8 million deal in San Francisco, California, put it in contract, proof of funds was supposedly there, all of a sudden we're a week, 2 weeks into it, deal gets fallen apart, the transaction falls apart because the funds that they said that they had were not here and readily available to close the deal. They were still there and they needed to get it out. Now, for people that are in China, annually, they could only do $50,000 per person per year. Okay, so if you're doing a multi-million-dollar transaction, just think about that and how complex it could be. I don't ask about how they do it. Quite frankly, I don't care. Just as long as the money is proved to be here, ready and available, that's the most important thing you can possibly do for yourself, for your clients, for everyone involved. So, prove who they are as a person, prove the funds. This is literally a very important thing. So prove the funds. It might be awkward at first, but find out a creative way on how to do that and make sure that the funds are here, ready, and available. Thank you for watching this episode of Keep It Moving with Ro Habibi. I hope you've took some good points from here. If you could share some more with us, do it. Thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, feedback. Love it. Thank you. Peace.